We're back.
Five.
We're back.
I believe we're back. We'll find out.
I think we are.
Think we're live right now?
I think we're live right now.
God, we learn something new every day. Why do I gotta learn everything the hard way?
Mistakes, the best way you learn.
That's the best way you learn.
Yeah.
All right, so we are back live once again for those who happen to care about the software that just took a crap on me. It's going to have to be the Skype, but I don't blame Skype. It was a user error in some shape or form. So anyways, back on here live with Rob Alexander. And if I remember correctly, Rob, we were just briefly talking about what it takes, that leap of faith that it takes to actually go from, starting a business to, okay, now I'm going to quit my job and do this full time. Right. So do you remember and I remember you kind of watching me, and honestly, you and the mastermind group that you've got me connected to, like you guys were a big part of actually planning that out and making that happen. Do you remember what that time was like? Tell me about it.
Yeah, I remember it well because I think we all saw it maybe before you did. We saw your business growing. We saw you feeling pulled and tugged towards being the entrepreneur. Like that's where that fire clearly was coming out in you. But also feeling like I need that safety net of my full-time job and the benefits that come with it. And I've got a family and kids and all that. So it was really interesting to watch because on one hand, we knew what we all could see how this was going to end at some point, but we knew you were going to jump off that cliff.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of when, and not necessarily wanting to push you off, but make sure that you yourself were ready and that your family was ready for it. But we all knew it was coming. And it was just kind of exciting to watch it happen. And it kind of happened, and then it didn't happen. And then ultimately you took that jump that every entrepreneur hopes to take at some point where, they say entrepreneur is like jumping off a cliff and figuring out how to build a plane on the way down. And that's where you're at right now.
Yep. Most definitely, man. And, I can remember kind of talking with you guys, and I'm like, well, it's a certain amount of money. Like I have to make a certain amount of money before I can, before I can quit or before I can do this or before I can do that. And honestly, like, I think that the fact that I finally did it and I'm looking back now, I realized like, what could I have done different, or what could have been better prepared, or what could have been, what could have made it easier for me. Right. And honestly, there was nothing that could have made it any easier. Like, and I remember, I talked to Ethan Dewhurst one time, and he's like, man, he said, the benefit that you have is like, he said that you've got the hustle, right? You've got the ability to go out here and make things happen. Right. And just that alone right there, that one conversation like gave me the confidence. I was like, you know what? He's right. Like I do have the ability to go out here and try and make something happen. And I just was like, I just had to, saddle up and do it and just make it happen, But I know that would not have happened without the help of SBDC, without you and without all the business coaches, because, my original plan, my vision of what I was capable of doing was so small, right? And it's still small to this day, but being around people like yourself and like other entrepreneurs and people here in Springfield and people that I've met in other cities and stuff like that, like just being able to have people who are, ahead of me, people who are kind of at a place in life where I'm trying to go to, has been able to kind of help me propel in that right direction. So Rob, I want to tell me a little bit about like, if someone comes into SBDC, right, what do you do to try to help connect them to the right people? Like, cause I know that, this wasn't like, just because I met with 7 business coaches is what helped me start my business and grow my business. Like that wasn't the secret to it right there. It was the connections. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I think there's an interesting debate about whether anyone can be an entrepreneur or not. And like we could clearly see entrepreneurial tendencies where if you had a good idea, you would just go for it. I can remember being in a meeting with you and we were talking about competitors, and you didn't even say like, hey, hold on. You just picked up your phone and called one of those competitors and started asking them questions to find out about their business. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Slow your roll there, buddy. But it was awesome. I mean, that's exactly what an entrepreneur would do. And so for me, when I'm encountering someone like you, I have to connect them with other entrepreneurs because no one else is going to understand them. And you needed other entrepreneurs to help you learn how to recognize when to pivot and pivot quickly.
Yeah.
You can write a beautiful business plan, but honestly, I've come to the point where I think a lot of business plans, there's value in that exercise, but the reality is half the stuff you write in that plan is probably going to be off in some
Mm.
way. It's going to be wrong, and you're not going to know until you open your business. And so, really, the ones who succeed are the ones who learn. I need to pivot when I see something's not working, and I got to do it quickly. And so, I think that that's the one thing that you got going for you is that you're willing to try all kinds of stuff. I look at the list of the stuff we did. We did a lot of stuff that didn't work. I'm
Yep.
pretty sure you're not writing postcards to people who you see in the newspaper anymore, are
No,
you?
that was a bad idea.
Yeah, and that was
We
that
tried
was
though.
like my first idea, and I'm the
Yep.
business coach. So, we're not all knowing people at the SBDC, and there's no way we can know every single industry that people walk through our door wanting to talk about. We just know some general principles, and we're that person who can help you flesh out what are my goals, how do I think I want to go there, and maybe hold you a little bit accountable. When you and I meet every single week, you don't want to show up the next week and not have done the thing you said you were going to do.
Yep.
And it's easy to do that when you have nobody else you're talking to about your business. And to me, that's why people need coaches. That's why athletes have coaches. Even the top athlete in a sport still has a coach. Vocal, performing artists, they still have vocal coaches. Everybody needs a coach. It doesn't make you weak. It means you care about your craft.
Yep.
And I think a lot of existing business owners don't look at it that way. They got this free resource sitting in their backyard. We're up to the point now where we got 13 business coaches who know their stuff,
Yep.
and we don't have a waiting list. And that's crazy to me. We should have a waiting list.
Absolutely. And, and I think, well, what would hold a small business owner or a young entrepreneur back from actually reaching out to SBDC and actually utilizing all of these services? And I think that the false belief of either it costs money when you clearly say it's a free resource 500,000 times and people will still think something's going to cost them money,
Yeah.
or B, people think that these business coaches don't know what they're talking about. Right? Because I can't come up with another logical reason why somebody who's really trying to grow their business would not take the help of somebody who knows what they're talking about.
I think those two are big, but also I think people just aren't confident in their ability to be a business owner. So to show up in my office, it makes it very real at that point. And for some people, that's too scary. Like, it's a lot easier to go register a domain name, maybe build a website. But to go talk to a business coach about it, well, you better be pretty serious. And I think people get hung up on that. It's okay. I mean, you can just come bounce an idea off the wall. We're not going to hurt your feelings or make you feel stupid. We're there to help you actualize your dreams. It's actually a very life-giving, soul-fulfilling process. And you may walk out of there and say, I don't think this is the right time. I'm not sure that's the right idea. That may happen. But you're going to come to that conclusion yourself. We're not going to kill your dreams. That's just not how we roll.
Absolutely, man. And I can think of different times where I've had other ideas besides, the OVI program and, and the video production stuff. And I can remember very vividly one time I came into the office and I said, Rob, I got this great idea. We're going to make a bunch of money. We're going to do all this and that. And like, you made me sit down and pull out the calculator and pull out the spreadsheet of all the expenses and stuff like that. And like, literally seeing all of the expenses laid out on paper, what do you even call that? Profit and loss, or what is it?
Yeah. Projections, financial
projections. Yeah. See, I don't even know what it is. The projections, right? Just enough to see that was enough to kill that idea because it was a bad idea, right? Maybe not bad for everybody, but it was a bad idea at the time. But had I had not sought out that advice from somebody who knew what they were talking about, I very well could have got locked and loaded on that idea and went and ran with it and dug myself in a hole that would have been very hard to get out of. But being able to talk to you about that kind of helped me keep my feet on the ground, stay planted, and not make a bad decision. So appreciate you once again for that right there. That was good.
And it was the process. When I started that, I didn't know it was a bad idea either. In fact, I thought it was a good idea until we started going through the process of doing projections. We both could see the writing on the wall by the time we got done with that process. And so we take you on a journey. We're not telling you what to do because, listen, we're not geniuses, but we have some good tools in our tool belt. And I think we help you work on your business because you're going to spend a lot of time working in your business. And
Mhm.
most business owners get really caught in that trap where they spend 100% of their time just working in it. Like if I've got a landscaping business, I'm out there mowing lawns so much that I'm not really making sales. I'm not going out and bidding on landscaping jobs because I'm so busy mowing that I can't even build my business, and it dies.
Yep.
Um, at least when you have a business coach that you go see every other week or so, you're going to work on your business a couple of times a month. And
Yep.
that is huge. It's huge.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I think being able to have somebody that's in your corner, and again, from like my circle of influence before networking with small business development and interacting with business coaches, like I didn't have anybody in my life who had ever started a business. And I know some entrepreneurs have that family tree of business success and family tree of people who have just, um, you know, had opportunities available to them. Like that was my situation, and being able to change the mindset that I had of myself of, okay, I am a worker who's only capable of doing this and not capable of doing more, to getting exposed to people like yourself and getting connected to a mastermind group and going to different events that you guys put together and just meeting different people and realizing like, wow, like maybe I can do this. And then like the best part about it, and what I really enjoyed the most about all those weeks we would meet is it's not just me and you would sit down together and I'd say, Rob, I know how to send emails to people, or I don't know how, why do I have to, how do I make sales over the phone, or how do I do it electronically, or how do I automate the stuff? And it wasn't like you would just blow smoke at me. You would say, oh, Eric, before we meet next week, I want you to do this, this, and this, and this, right? And I would have like tactical steps that was like my assignment for the week, my homework, and it's like every time I would take a step in the direction moving forward based on the expert professional advice I was getting from a business coach, like I literally got one step closer every single time. And again, like I talked about earlier, the logical sequence of steps of like business plan, bank account, insurance, LLC, legal stuff. And it's like, okay, now the business is set up. Now it's like the marketing of the business. How do people know I exist? How am I going to build relationships with people? How am I actually demonstrating value to people, being of service to the community and something that's beneficial and not just something that's taken away? And man, those are the steps that you literally helped me. You held my hand and we walked the entire way. And now, eventually you get to kick me down the road and watch
Now the student has become the teacher. I
yeah,
mean, there
yeah,
was a point where you were working with one of our coaches, Kevin, and he's like, this guy doesn't need me. He knows what he's doing with Google AdWords and analytics and all that. Like he could be coaching in this area now. And I think that's the case with funnels and video marketing and all kinds of stuff. You took it and you ran. That's been fun to watch. And one of my favorite memories with you was going down to Madison or London Correctional Institution,
yep,
and doing that session with the guys who were incarcerated there, because like you talked about not growing up in a family where there was a ton of entrepreneurs and a ton of people in your life telling you like, hey, you can do this. I think a lot of people are in that situation. They weren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth. They weren't born on second base. But I believe everyone, like I said, has that American dream where they want to be their own boss. And so one of my big goals is let's make that dream accessible to anyone who has it. And going into that prison, man, that for me, that lit my fire.
yeah.
And I don't know how it was for you, but
It was
that's the
very,
stuff right there. Anyone can own a business, and we're getting to a day and age where we're going to have to start looking out for ourselves. The days of having a job your whole life, that's over. You are responsible for your own financial security going forward. And I think financial security comes from having multiple streams of income. And sometimes that means I'm going to start 2 or 3 businesses.
yep. Yep, man, absolutely. And I think that, having having options available to you, that where you can, you can do something for a while and then pivot and try something different, and collecting a host of valuable skills that you can implement to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. So, man, I know this was kind of a chopped up session, probably wrapped for about 30 minutes altogether, but we had a little technical difficulty coming in, but that's part of the process as well. You be scared of something just because you think you might have a little bit of trouble along the way, knowing that you're probably going to have trouble along the way. So, Rob, is there anything you want to share before we close today?
Man, no, just always work on growing. If I've learned anything from you, it's that you just got to keep growing. You've taken so many courses, spent so much money on educating yourself.
Mhm.
And that's like one of the clearest differences between the growth I've seen in you in really just 2 years and the 95% of other people that I come into contact with. They're not investing that time. So that stuff is worth the effort. It's not a waste of money. All that money you spend on that is going to come back to you if it hasn't already. So I just think it's been fun to watch this journey. I even went on that journey with you. I did that one funnel away challenge because you got excited when I told you what marketing funnels were. And then I got excited watching you get excited. And I'm like, I got to have some of what he's taken. So
Right.
I just really appreciate our friendship, and your business coach can be that for you. I think every business owner, every successful one has a whole team of people around them that keeps them in between the lines. So you need a banker you can trust, an insurance agent you can trust, an accountant, but one of those people on your team ought to be a business coach. And we've got a great resource here in Springfield. This is one of like this SBDC is good. It's I think you'll hear some news soon just about how good this SBDC is, how lucky we are to have it in our backyard. So
Forward to it.
utilize it. Your tax dollars are paying for it. Don't feel bad about using a free resource. It's for you. You're already paying for it. So I appreciate this opportunity. Proud to be a friend of yours and really excited to see this grow.
Really, my man. Well, Rob, appreciate your time. I'll go ahead and wrap up with that. Again, if anybody has any questions for Rob, he's not very hard to find. You can reach him through the job or the Small Business Development Center of Clark County, Springfield Facebook page. You can reach out to him directly. You can pick up the phone and give him a call. This man is accessible. He will help you do whatever it is you are trying to do to either start a business, grow a business, or whether you just want to talk about an idea. So Rob, thanks again for your time, my man. Hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next time. Done.